All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Nvidia beats earnings predictions. Let me just check my mic to make sure that we're all good. Give me just a sec. Got to check, got to check. Let me just check my mic to make sure. Yeah, mic is good, mic is good. We're all good. Mic is good, mic is good. All right, cool. Just a sec. All right, so yeah, Nvidia beats earnings predictions. Let me share my screen so we could go over the article. Let me see. Give me just a sec. All right. So it says Nvidia beats Q2 estimates as data center continues to grow, but shares fall 6%. Now, just to be honest, after hours, it's a lot more volatile because there's not a lot of liquidity. But I think since they came out and they beat Q2 earnings, they will pump up tomorrow, in my prediction, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but yeah, I think tomorrow they'll do good. And then in the coming weeks too, as we go into September, as we do the first interest rate cut, I think Nvidia is going to do well. I think this is going to start the resurgence of AI, like we had back in April, that March timeframe where everything AI, crypto, stocks was moving up. So I think this is just going to start that in combination with the rate cuts, right? All right, so let's read the article. It says AI juggernaut Nvidia reported its second quarter earnings after the bell on Wednesday, beating expectations on the top and bottom line and beating on anticipated guidance for the coming quarter. For the quarter, the company reported earnings per share of 68 cents on revenue of 26.3 billion. Analysts were expecting earnings per share of 64 cents and revenue of 28.8 billion. That's a massive increase from the same period last year when Nvidia saw earnings per share of 27 cents. So just think about it. Last year, it was 27 cents. They literally tripled that. So, and then revenue was 13.5. So, so it looks like revenue, earnings per share went up, but revenue went down a little bit. So analysts were expecting 64 cents and revenue of 28. So their earnings per share expectation was higher, but then revenue was slightly lower. But I think it makes up for it since earnings per share was 4 cents higher, essentially. All right. The company also provided third quarter revenue guidance of 32.5 billion plus or minus 2%. So they're thinking they're going to do 32.5 billion in the third quarter, plus or minus 2%. Analysts were looking for 31.9 billion, right? So an extra 0.6 billion for the third quarter forecast. So a lot, that's a lot. Shares of the chip giant were down 6% following the announcement. I'm not sure why after that specific announcement, but they did mention something about the Blackwell chips being a slightly delayed because they want to do some enhancing to it and things like that. So their earnings calls at 5 o'clock. So pay attention to that. I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with a lot more stuff. It could potentially initiate a boom, right? Depending on what they say. All right, what else? It says the bulk of that revenue came from Nvidia's all-important data center business, which brought in 26.3 billion in the quarter versus Wall Street's expectation of 25 billion in revenue. All right, so their data center gained 1.3 billion more than what was expected. The company saw just 10.3 billion the segment in the same quarter last year. So that's an increase of 16 point, 3, well, an increase of 16 billion, right, from last year. Even if like they didn't hit expectations, you got to think about it. They were at 10.3 billion last year, and this year they're at 26.3 billion. So not only did they, more than double what they did last year, they beat expectations as well. So it says Nvidia is the world leader in AI chip design and software, controlling between 80 to 95% of the market, according to Reuters. And remember, AMD reported their earnings like a week or two ago. They did really well. And, Nvidia is in the same sector, and they own 80 to 95% of the market share. So it was only, it was predictable that they were going to beat earnings. All right. It says, and it's expected to continue to hold that lead as it begins to roll out its next generation Blackwell line of chips. Just to put it in perspective, their H100 chips are like the best in the market, right? And I think they're coming out with H200, or if not, I don't know if they rolled that out already, but they're the best on the market. And, now they're coming out with these Blackwell chips, and I'm pretty sure those are going to be top of the line too, right? So they're just dominating all over. It says still Nvidia's rivals aren't resting on their laurels. Earlier this month, AMD announced it's acquiring CT Systems in a deal value at $4.9 billion. The move gives AMD more firepower to build out an AI system server, something that's been a major catalyst for Nvidia's own sales. And while it could provide AMD with the boost in sales, it doesn't mean Nvidia will face any major threats to its reign as the AI king anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, they already own 80 to 95% of the chips. Amazon, Facebook, who else? Tesla, they all want Nvidia chips. And, they're the primary seller of these quality chips. AMD comes slightly close, but nobody's going to AMD and making these. I mean, they're getting purchases, but they're not. It's not like Nvidia, right? Nvidia again owns 80 to 95% of the market share, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon, right? So, and while it could provide AMD with a boost, all right, there are emerging competitors like AMD that are starting to take a little bit of a market share. Stifel Managing Director Ruben Roy told Yahoo Finance. But when you look at the overall infrastructure spend cycle, which we think is going to continue to increase, Nvidia appears to us as the best positioned benefit. Yeah, and they came out first, so they have first mover advantage, and their product is just better. So I think it's gonna last. Like, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, I think Nvidia will own this space for 5 years, but I think other companies will start to develop similar quality chips and be able to compete. And I think also the price of chips are probably going to go down in the future. Right now, I think it's like 30 to 40,000 for like an Nvidia chip. So the prices are crazy, right? But the AI demand is not going anywhere. People want AI, and you need these chips to run these AI algorithms and all the software. So yeah. All right, let's look at Nvidia's chart. Let me put this down. Give me just a sec. Stop sharing screen. Let me share screen again. All right. Nvidia. All right, so after hours, when earnings came out, it went up to like 127, 128. It crashed all the way down to 117. I think people are trying to digest the news, so right now it's sitting at 121. I think this earnings call is going to be optimistic, right? They already beat their expectations, so most likely this earnings call is just going to fluff that up a little bit more. They're going to reassure investors that, hey, even though we're going to have some type of delay with the Blackwell chips, we are still looking to hit expectations, exceed expectations. They're probably going to still talk about AI and how that's going to continue to grow, and talk about how they expect to beat earnings for quarter 3, even though with the delay. So yeah, earnings call will start in 12 minutes. I will not be covering the earnings call, but hopefully, so what is this going to do for the market? Well, for the crypto market, anything that's tied to AI, I think in the next couple weeks, as the information digest, as people digest the information, I think those AI related cryptos are going to shoot up. Nvidia, I think over the next coming weeks is going to shoot up. Now, what I was hearing was a selling point, a selling price point, not financial advice, is 140. They're saying a lot of traders are looking at that 140, 150 mark. So if we see right now, Nvidia is at 120. If it shoots up to 140, 150, what they're saying is there's going to be a lot of selling at that price point. And I could see it going up in the next couple weeks, maybe next month, especially with the rate cuts coming. So beat earnings, rate cuts coming, and we're kind of in that AI narrative type environment right now. So it could get to 140 pretty quickly, right? And it could end the year pretty strong. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. They beat earnings. Nothing much else to talk about here. So what I would say is just pay attention to the price if you're an investor. You should be long-term Nvidia. I mean, obviously on days like this, it'll be volatile, but it is a $1 trillion company. So, it does take a lot to move the stock, but it is still in the tech sector. So it could be volatile still. And it's kind of in the Nvidia is still technically in the early stages, right? This whole AI boom, the demand for chips, they're leading the space. So they can go over the next 10 years to, I think, to $8 to $10 trillion market cap. That's just my opinion. So a lot more room to grow, and then also it's gonna spread out to other plays as well in the crypto space. I think the crypto space is definitely going to benefit. So take a look at those plays as well. You have things like Render, and all these other GPU computing decentralized platforms that are alternatives to like a centralized, juggernaut like Nvidia or AMD, right? But that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok, Financial Nutrition, and Instagram, Mr. Financial Nutrition. I'm going to be putting up a new banner soon, so you're going to be able to see my handles for TikTok and Instagram. I'll put out a what do you call it? I'll post on my forum, my feed, my YouTube feed once I update the banner to let you guys know. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.